And here we are once again.
Here you are, and here you are.
And there you are. And there you are.
Yeah.
So,
everyone's here.
Thank
It's
goodness.
a lovely day outside. Can we do these outside?
That would be nice,
Do we have
wouldn't
long
it?
enough extension cords?
You know what? Actually, yeah. I've got some extra mic cables. I
That'd be
think
cool.
we could rig it up.
Do that in a
Sit
park or
outside. You can
something.
hear the traffic going by.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
Might have to do that.
It'll feel like you're right there on Piney Forest.
That's nice. I like that idea. Some outside Walking Dead podcasting. Speaking of which, for Fear the Walking Dead, Matt, you still don't seem that impressed with it.
I mean, like I told you when I came in, it's better. It was better than the last two. There was okay. Here's the positive, and about halfway through the episode, it hit me. The positive thing about this show is that anyone could die at any given time.
Right, that is
and
nice.
that's something that's been missing from The Walking Dead for a while. Like, you have your safe people or whatever. But on this one, I feel like anyone, like, oh my God, oh, okay, that person didn't die. Oh my God, okay, no,
Right.
they didn't die. So I feel like it can happen. It's going to happen. Somebody
agree.
big's going to die, in the main group.
There's no Rick. There's no untouchable. It
Right.
seems
Yeah.
like you have you figure Madison and Travis might be a little safer than the rest, just because probably one of the two of them will die. The other one will go on.
yeah.
I really feel like it's going to be Madison is going to be like the South. I really think they want you to feel like it's going to be Travis, but they're just setting him up to be killed and to take Madison in another
So you
direction.
think Madison and Victor are going to start hooking up?
Oh, hell
Old
no.
Strand?
Hell
You
no.
don't think so?
Victor's a douchebag now. Strand
Yeah,
was
everybody
one of my
liked him, and
favorite
now
characters.
it's just, nope, no thank you.
And I'm
think-
sure there's some reason they'll flip it around and you'll be like, oh, so that's why he did it. But you still don't, it's not cool to leave anyone stranded in the middle of the ocean.
Well, I was very confused when they were dragging them behind like that. I was like, oh, that was part of the deal? I thought they were just going to let them float off in the first place. And when they showed them pulling behind, I was like, oh, it's...
It's like there was
Kinda
an
nice.
island, but it was an
It was
island
nice.
full of zombies. But I mean, still, there was land visible, right? And then
Right.
then you pull them out into the ocean, then cut the rope to where they have, the zombies could wander into the ocean and float off, and you could eventually have land to be on. But I mean, now they're in the middle of the ocean.
And that's something I want to bring up later, is the zombie island. I want to bring that up a little bit later when we get into it. But,
Okay. All right,
yeah,
I'll remember that.
there was a lot
Zombie
of people on that zombie island. I don't know how many people on the flight, but we'll talk about it.
Pretty sure when planes crash, bodies get a little bit more tore up than that, too.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
But, well, good point. But, I like the episode.
It was very graphic. Very
Yeah,
graphic
it
episode.
was.
A lot of
brutal
sound
when Christian
effects
had to
and
mercy kill that guy.
spines sticking out of people's backs.
Jeez, I know.
That was rough when his eyes
That
were
hurt
moving,
me, man.
Yeah.
I was hurting. Like, I was doing, like, arching my back in my chair while I was watching, because that hurt me to
Oh,
see
and you
his
see his
spine
spines
sticking out of there.
I mean, I thought that was a really good scene, though. I mean, I still don't like Christian any better, but I mean, it was just rough. He hits the guy, and I like that
Ugh.
they're showing the brutality of it instead of being like, even we've seen on The Walking Dead, like one quick, and it's like, oh, they're dead. It's like, pretty sure it takes a couple whacks to beat someone, bludgeon someone to death.
And these zombies aren't as decomposed, at this point. They're fresh zombies, nice and fresh.
Fresh, nice and fresh.
Right out of the oven.
Yeah, and I like how, like you said, we've seen it before, but I like how with Nick they kind of tried to just go ahead and say, okay, they have now, because they couldn't just have him all of a sudden just go, hey, if you cover yourself, they won't mess with you.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, well, how did they know that? But they showed like a quick kind of.
He was giving
just to
some weird facial expressions.
Yeah, he
throughout
was
this
trying to
stuff. Like, he
communicate.
looked, one moment he looks like he was nuts, and the next minute he was just normal.
I'm liking him a lot better. They said that he was really gonna like come out this like this was gonna be his season. He was not gonna just be the kind of like
Tom Riddle.
flunky drug. I'm sure that his drug issue will come back into play later. But I mean, they said he was really gonna step it up, and I mean, because you wouldn't see him as the one out there destroying zombies. He's kind of more like the Johnny Depp, just kind of floaty, druggy, shirt open kind of guy. And I mean, even in this episode, he turned things
Right,
around.
if Johnny Depp were here, I wonder if he would agree with you on that or not. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty much.
I'm
that
thinking
kind
like
of guy.
Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, like floats,
yeah,
kind of like whatever, kind of out of it.
Yeah,
But
which I wonder when he found those drugs, and they never said anything else about that. When he found,
he
that
put
out
him in
the
his
deep.
bag. He was tripping out. He could have taken one.
I don't know. So let's So
I don't know. He fell down the hill though.
So top of the episode, they're on the boat.
They're on the boat
Don't you ever forget.
with their swim trunks and their
The
flippy floppies.
Right.
And the engine's all gummed up.
Oh,
That was pretty cool.
gosh,
I
that was
like
so
that.
gross.
Yeah,
I
how
like
does
that.
Travis know all this stuff?
I just thought, like, has Travis ever have they mentioned that has he ever been scuba diving before?
I don't know. First of all, he knew the proper form, how to go
Right.
into the ocean. He knew, I knew he was talking about doing transmission or something like
Right.
that. But he was just flipping through the book like it was a car manual. Like this sucker was a portfolio. Like it was a 3-ring binder as thick
Yeah.
as my hand.
When he went Under the Blood was coming up, part of me was hoping that they would just like completely catch you off guard and like the zombie killed Travis.
The hand would come out.
You know, I'm sure some fans would have been mad. I would have loved it just for shock value. Like, because I was like, I swear we got a house full, well, not a house full, like 3 or 4 people. I was sitting there, I was like, blood's going to come up. Watch. It's going to like bubble blood. It's going to be the zombie because he pulled his arm out of the thing. But how cool would it have been to like just see Travis float up, half chewed on, and you just wouldn't have seen it coming. You know, you'd be like, "Oh my God!"
What kind of teacher was Travis? Was he a math teacher? Because I was going to say maybe he took like engineering in college or something, but I can't
He
remember.
said
what kind
that
of
he knew
teacher
how to work.
was.
He mentioned that he was really good at working on cars.
And as we know from
Right.
Breaking Bad, high school teachers are capable of amazing things.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. I really don't know if they have told more of his backstory or not. But I mean, he knew what he was doing. I still feel like Ophelia is going to be the first to go.
She's already
Did I
wounded.
just unplug
for
myself? Am
goodness
I okay?
Yes, you're
Sorry,
good.
I can
accidentally
hear you.
kicked my cable. I'm
Can
sorry.
you hear yourself?
Oh God. Okay, it's all uphill from here, guys.
Victor Strand. Now here's the looming question we need to ask: Do we think
What is he
Victor
up
is a
to?
good guy or a bad guy?
I think right now he is he's a bad man,
Think
but
so?
he has bad he has self-preservation motivation,
I think he's a pragmatist.
right? I guess
He's
is that
going to
what
use
I'm
these
trying to
people
say?
as long as he needs them.
Right,
I
'cause
think you were
he's-
looking for a P word. Whether that's
Is
the
that-
one or not, I'm not sure.
I'm always looking for a P word.
Oh, boy.
Wait, we'll work on that one.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
No, but he's trying to fend for himself, and everybody's kind of throwing a wrench in his plans. I
Well,
feel
yeah,
like it's when you invite one person into your house for a party, and then they bring 2 friends, and then they tell 2 friends, and
Yeah.
then half the high school, come to your party.
To me, though, I'm just wondering, like, what did he need them for? I know that he saved Nick, at the end of last season, got him out of that.
To get to the yacht, I think they just all helped him.
Right. Is that all he needed them for?
I guess.
I mean, because it's
And maybe you need more than one person to sail a yacht.
possible.
might
It
need more
definitely
than
would
one
help.
person.
Yeah.
I just, I'm wondering if he's, I don't know. I feel like he's a bad guy, but at the same time, from a writing standpoint, maybe they want you to feel like he's a bad guy, but maybe his actions may not be the best, but his intentions
he's all
are
looking out
pure.
for number one.
Right.
I
And
think
that's
his
what
intentions are pure. I think he's looking out
you
for
think.
himself.
You
and
think
that's
that
it.
he's not worried about any of them
He's
on
like,
the
yeah,
boat.
he's like, I've had to fend for myself for as long as possible. I'm not used to having to fend for other people, so I don't.
I like that he.
I don't want to change that.
I like that Travis stood up to him. He kind of tried to
Yeah, that was cool.
boss Travis around a little bit. He's like, well,
That was
get
funny.
it fixed.
That was pretty funny.
I was pretty
So
glad.
you're a
that-
valuable.
He was a
asset.
lot like the wolf in Pulp Fiction. He was just like, pretty please. Clean the fucking car.
Right.
Fix the fucking boat, whatever he said. But you guys remember that, Harvey Keitel.
I do. That was really good.
That was fun for everyone.
Shot Marvin or whatever the guy's name was.
Yeah.
Melvin Marvin. What was it?
You shot Melvin in the face.
Melvin. Was it Melvin?
I think it was Melvin, but who knows?
We were just talking about Tarantino films. I thought you would
Geez,
know
we
that.
were. I just bought Hateful Eight.
Oh yeah. Speaking of hateful, I'm not really a fan of Madison too much.
Really?
She-
I like
her
Madison.
I find her to be a little too.
I think she's. I
PJ,
think
give me another word. What do I find her? I find her very
Aggressive?
Sure, contrite. Is that right?
I like her. I think Travis's biggest problem is I think Travis. I mean, he stood up to Strand, no doubt, but I think Travis is more of a pusher around. I don't think you can push Madison around. I mean, I think she sees the world for what it is.
right. I think Travis wants to keep the peace, but she has a family.
Right. I don't know if you could
around for her.
necessarily push Travis around, but
She's like a mama bear.
Right. I feel like he's just more passive, kind of like whatever. Whereas Madison, I think that she's one of the only. Her and Daniel are the only two.
I love Daniel so much.
Daniel's
He's
my
a
favorite.
crack shot, dude.
He's awesome.
He was like shooting headshots and then pistol whipped one.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
straight up pretty darn cool.
You think about it, if you hadn't seen The Walking Dead, this show would be amazing. I mean, you'd be, zombie, because like with myself, I've been ever since
Sure.
Resident Evil got me into it. So I've been a zombie fan since I was a kid. So for me, being that there were no zombie shows, if this were it, I'd be very pleased. That's what I keep telling myself when I'm judging the show. Like, okay,
Try not to compare it
if
too
The
much.
Walking Dead didn't exist,
Yeah.
as a zombie fanatic, how would I feel about this show? And I'd be pretty
It's
darn
on there.
happy about it. Pretty happy about
This
it.
much I will say. I think either Victor or Daniel's going to go by the end of the season. I don't see both of them going into
Strand
season
might
3.
kill Daniel. Maybe Daniel
Yeah.
steps up and,
One of the two.
I do see at some point Daniel dying.
Oh, yeah.
I see that at some point, and then maybe Ophelia would come back with revenge. One of the two. I think either Daniel or Ophelia.
Maybe
will
Ophelia will die, and then we'll have Daniel just kind of get reckless, or maybe just sacrifice himself. I really feel like maybe Daniel would be the one to uncover something about Strand, and Strand killing him to keep it secret.
I mean, Daniel's already on top of him. He found that machine gun and the whole plot to go to Mexico.
Yeah, so I mean,
Daniel's
Wouldn't it
on
be funny
top
when
of
they get to Mexico, like Daniel finds some people that he used to know, like through somehow or something?
I think he was linked up with the cartel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if he was a security guy, or if he used to be like, was he ex-special forces?
well,
or
he was some
something?
in Vietnam that made him
See what I'm
torture
saying? So
people
what if
or
he meets
something.
some people that he fought at one time, or were opposed against?
It'd be interesting. Like I said, I feel like I could see it coming if Strand is not just misunderstood at the moment, and he actually is just like, I'm just doing me, screw y'all, or he has some evil intent. I could see Daniel being the one to uncover it, confronting him, and then Strand somehow killing him. Like Daniel will be the one to try to take care of business. Like, okay, I'm going to kill you basically, and then Strand somehow getting the upper hand, which Strand hadn't really shown. I mean, he's suave, but he hadn't really shown any badass skills yet. So as of right now, I feel like Daniel
Right,
could
he's just
probably
all
take him
bark.
Yeah.
if he had a weapon.
But don't get
Daniel's
me.
a little older, so Strand probably might be in a
That's
little
that
better shape.
experience, man.
True.
The
That.
fact that I'm just saying, he shot all of the, and I know this is TV, but I feel like that's in character.
Oh, yeah.
That he shot all of those zombies, because this is a pretty, they try to stick to as much realism as they can.
Yeah.
And he capped all of those zombies in the head.
And Daniel just reminds me of like a Hispanic not Mr. Magoo, Mr. Miyagi. Mr. Miyagi, just he'd totally be a badass. And you
Mr.
wouldn't even
Magoo
expect it.
Miyagi. Could you
Yeah.
imagine
Mr.
that?
Miyagi in the zombie apocalypse would be amazing.
I'm telling you.
For the younger generation, that's Jackie Chan's character in the Jaden Smith movie.
I
Karate
never
Kid,
saw
but we
that.
know him from. Oh no, it's awful.
It's not
It is
good.
awful. Just stick with the original.
Yeah.
I thought the original was better. I didn't think the new one was awful, but I just don't like Jaden Smith. Even as a kid, I didn't like him, so I just couldn't like it because I don't like Jaden Smith.
Right.
But I like Jackie Chan, but the original's leagues better.
Can you believe they're making a Rush Hour TV show?
It's already like been on for 3 weeks.
Are you serious?
Apparently, it's not that good.
Apparently,
imagine
if-
that.
Judge for yourself, because apparently both of the actors are they do their best Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan
Are they both?
impressions.
They're both. Oh, the actors are
Yeah.
playing them. It's
Are they
not
like
real.
the nephews of the original movie?
No, they
people?
play
No.
Lee and Carter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, man.
How do you like
Talk
that?
about a
How do you
franchise
like
just
that?
milking for every last little
Absolutely.
dollar that they can
That's
get.
just
Absolutely.
network TV, just holding on by a thread.
Thank
Well, but
goodness.
Going for
CBS
broke.
has all the number one shows. I don't know why they're like they have NCIS. As long as they have NCIS, they're not going
They're
anywhere.
good,
Criminal Minds, they do. What else they got? They got the NCAA.
Wheel of
college, college basketball. They got Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what they do not have?
What's that?
Fear the Walking Dead.
They don't.
Cable seems to
call.
be the way to
Good call.
go these days. I just,
I don't know, man. They say cable's on a downslope. Everybody's going with.
Huh?
I have
I figured
Netflix
The
and Hulu
Walking
right now. That's all
Dead
I
was-
use.
yeah.
And the
oh,
internet.
man, I'm just talking about for good shows.
Oh yeah.
You know.
But you can find all those. They got to figure out a way to get it accessible for everyone and not pay an arm and a leg for stuff you
Yeah.
don't want. Like the whole route where
Well, like
you get 150
HBO.
channels, but you only watch 10 of them, but you have to pay $100.
Make it
Yeah.
a la carte.
But no, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
you
saying.
could probably get away with charging maybe like $5 a channel or something.
Which Amazon Prime's kind of got that going. You got you can get just the Star shows, just the Showtime subscriptions,
Right.
and watch them as they're coming on.
I wouldn't mind doing
Things
that
are
for
changing for
HBO
the best,
just for
right?
Game of Thrones.
I hope so. Game of Thrones started.
I know.
Oh.
Gosh,
Oh,
we
you
were
guys
supposed to
haven't seen it.
podcast about
Yeah.
that too. Oh,
I haven't
man.
watched it. It's okay. We'll talk about it.
Oh, man. We'll get that going. We'll
I
get on our-
can't get in. I can't. I'll try, but I just can't get into another show. I got so much going on right now, man.
Well, if nothing else,
I watch 3 shows on TV right now. That's a lot for me.
What are you watching?
I watch Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead when it's on, The Flash, and I just got into Agents of Shield, and it's okay, but it's
I
I'm trying to
watched
get
a little
into
bit.
it.
It won't really my
I'm
thing.
trying to get into it, and I'm trying to catch up on my old stuff. But Game of Thrones, that's a deep show. I don't.
Well, if
You don't think
nothing
you could do
else-
Game of Thrones?
I could. I'm just gonna find a friend who has HBO Go
Yeah.
or HBO Now. I'm not gonna buy a subscription just for
Oh,
one
no,
show.
no. But I just would
For 10
love to.
weeks. I love you, HBO. It's not TV. It's HBO.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so back to Fear the Walking
Fear the
Dead
Walking
here.
Dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not much as I don't know. I mean, I still not a fan of the show too much.
I enjoy it. I feel like
I'm more excited
season
about this
1 of The
week.
Walking Dead was kind of, I mean, it was cool, but in retrospect, it was pretty slow when you look at, especially like season 6. it just like you had those moments that happened that made you realize this is a great show. Like Sophia coming out of the barn, you were like, oh, I did not see that coming. You know, good. This is a good show. And then the Shane and Rick standoff. Like you had different points, and I feel like this show is going to get there. There's something that's going to happen that's going to make you go, oh my God. And then you're going to be really into it.
I hope so.
It's based off of Robert, because it says, you know, by Robert Kirkman's Fear of the Walking Dead, but I hope he's like supervising the writing. Or have y'all heard
For this show?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a producer
He's
for
got
it.
his finger in the pie.
executive
Okay,
producer.
I'll say, because I mean, you kind of always need that. Like that's what's, you know, why like a lot of Stephen King films he's not a fan of, because they really don't include him per se. They just kind of make it off the book, and then
Robert Kirkman was on Maron, like Mark Maron interviewed him, and AMC came to him and they were like, look, pal, this show is happening. You can either be on board or we can just do what we want with it. So he was like, you know, if they were going to make it, I was going to be a part of it. So
right.
So I mean, AMC,
Especially when your name's going to be on it.
Yeah.
You know, you want to make
so that
sure.
show would have happened with or without him.
Because God, how many names are now no longer taken seriously because someone got to continue making the franchise with the person's name, but without any of their input.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'm trying to think of a couple.
I know there's some out there.
Gotta be.
Well,
Bill
I mean, you
Cosby.
think, well, I mean, like, which actually he does do all of his. I was going to say, like, you know, a lot of the Day of the Deads and Dawn of the Deads got really stupid. You had the, you know, the original Night of the Living Dead and then a few good spinoffs, but then a lot of movies that he did were just, who, Father of Zombies, the reason why we have this show.
George Romero?
George Romero, you know, a lot of his later stuff, and I'm sure he actually did have a hand in it, but got really cheesy.
I mean, everything in
Yeah.
recent years he's did, man, was just garbage. There was
Yeah.
Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead. They
I
were
thought you
all-
said diarrhea.
And he
of the
might
dead,
not.
And I was like,
That one
wow, he
too.
really was getting
Now
cheesy
that
toward
one
the end
actually
of it.
was pretty good.
It's just a bunch of people trapped in a bathroom.
Well, like Stephen King, like when they make his movie, Stephen King's The Shining, even though Stephen King hated The Shining himself.
Yeah, but I think he has it like his contract. If it's based on his work, then you have to put his name in front
Oh,
of
I'm
it,
sure, because
you
that's
know?
the selling point.
Right.
Stephen King wrote this. I'm going to
Use
see
that
it.
name. Well, then, but a lot of times, what Richard Bachman, isn't that what he did? That
Yeah,
was his pen
that
name
was his
for, a lot
alter
of- for
ego.
like the Informants or whatever that show.
And
whatever
then he
that book
wrote a
was
story
on.
where he killed off Richard Bachman.
Right.
Huh.
And then he was in Richard Bachman was in the Dark Tower series, and
Yeah, they actually at some point talked to Stephen King himself.
It's like an
They
alternate
actually just
dimension
started
Stephen
filming for that, or they either set a
Yeah.
date for filming
I
one.
hope so.
So that's going to happen. I'm really anxious to see. I know we're sidetracking here, but
It's okay.
For Dark Tower fans, I'm really anxious to see if they'll get Aaron Paul to play Eddie, the drug strung out, you know, druggie that's with Roland the whole time.
If I were, I imagine he'd probably want to stay away from that role just because he doesn't want to be typecast.
Maybe, but at this point, what's he doing?
Well,
That's
he's got
successful.
some Hulu show that's getting ready to come on, and I can't remember the name
Oh,
of
The
it.
Path.
The Path,
Yeah, I
right?
see the commercials for it all the
yeah.
time.
So-
But you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I know you don't want to get typecast. That's the reason why the guy that played Khal Drogo wouldn't take a role in
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, he wouldn't take a role in some Marvel movie because he didn't want to be typecast as a bad guy because of, you know, something else he had been in, and then he
that's
was also
weird.
in.
But he's okay with playing
Aquaman. And Cal,
He's
it's
a good-
not like
you know-
Drago was really like a bad guy per se. He was
Not
just
really.
a ruthless horse lord
Yeah, but
with
you know,
great pectorals.
oh
Really
yeah,
great.
and a
It's a lot of
kick-ass
good
scar.
pumping iron.
Yeah.
But you know, but the thing is if when like before they even casted this movie, when they were like, oh, we might make a movie, everyone was like, Aaron Paul needs to play Eddie. When people, I mean, like, I'd be honored if, like, you know, there's this character that people are just instantly like, you know, oh, you'd be, you know, like fans are
It's
screaming
kind of like
your
Donald
name.
Glover with Spider-Man, Childish Gambino. But there was a big thing for him a few years ago. They tried to lobby for him to be Spider-Man, but he
Oh,
didn't
really?
really want to do it.
It'd be one of those things where I would just, even if you are at the risk of typecasting, I mean, you know, Aaron Paul's a great actor. Anyone who watches Breaking Bad knows that. So, I mean, it's like, if I were him, I'd risk it just because, I mean, this is going to be, if they do it right, you know, one of the best things for, I don't know, Stephen King's name to come out in a while. I mean, this is his most popular series. So, who knows? I'd love to see Aaron Paul in Fear of the Walking Dead.
Oh my God!
Wouldn't that be cool?
Because the Breaking Bad, apparently Breaking Bad,
Right.
take place in the same universe. That'd
Yeah,
be really
would be
cool.
cool.
Just have him show
Hey,
up.
yo, bitch, and then
Like it would be a
stab
really
down in the
cool
head.
cameo. Kill him, you know, like right out the gate, obviously, but it just like have him come out like it's Jesse, you know, just like take it, bitch, and then like a zombie just pulls him down. You're like, man,
And Nick could probably find a stash on his corpse afterwards.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You gotta get your fix.
Find some crystal.
I kind of like that they're not going to mix the two shows. I think it's cool. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure-
somebody told me they were like, "You think they're gonna do that?" And I was like, "No."
No, I think they said that they don't have any plans to do that.
I kind of wish they had. I don't know, man. I wish the show was totally different. Like, remember the CDC scientist in the first season?
Yeah.
I think this show should have started like his last transmission before he blows everything up. Like this paramilitary group of scientists get that last transmission, and they're actually trying to like find, figure out what's going on.
That would be cool.
I mean, why do we need another family survival
Right.
drama,
Well, that's a good point. You could have changed it up, and instead of being just like the other one, where we're with survivors.
Yeah.
How about we're not with survivors? We're with people that are well beyond surviving this, and they're on the other end of the virus, or from the people that actually created the virus or whatever.
I mean, even if they never find answers, just they're out there looking, and they're military guys and scientists, and they end up trying to like having to govern survivors and stuff. I
think the problem they're going to have is it's going to be really hard to come up with and I mean, it's a show where people eat people, so logical kind of out the window. But getting past that,
I don't know, man.
think it's going to be
you
a
know,
hard.
bath salts. You apparently start eating people's faces.
And you do, and I believe that it's going to be hard for them to come up with a logical explanation for how every person on Earth is infected. Like you just leave it, and it's happened, it's there. You get into trying to explain it, and then you get into like some
take the
plot
path
holes
that everyone else does. And they're like, it's just natural evolution. It's just a way for the Earth to purge itself or whatever. I mean, they always throw something.
See,
in
I
there,
would
like,
do
it's just
something a little
scientific.
bit different. Like, I mean, as corny as it sounds, come up with something like maybe a solar flare
God
hit the
hates
atmosphere,
all of you, and He wants you to burn.
right? And the atmosphere over the last few years mutated a gene in our body, or at least something to where because somebody was like, well, we probably have it in the water supply. I mean, not everybody was drinking out of the same water supply. I mean,
I'm a Coca-Cola man myself.
Yes, you are.
Yep.
You're also a Coke man.
But we won't go there.
No.
my cell phone number.
Oh Lord.
That's 434. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't
Stop it. Just
But
stop.
I'm with JP. That would be a cool idea to see it from like the scientist
Just like
perspective.
like a fresher, something fresher.
'Cause I like that.
I'm all about fresh and affordable.
Now, while I say I like that they're not gonna cross, it would be cool if I kind of contradict myself, but like towards the very end, like I don't want a crossover to stay,
Yeah.
which would probably be the easiest thing to do, writing, because then you would have to write 2 shows.
Yeah.
But it would be too many main characters in one show, yada yada yada. But like at the very end, if somehow they, like when The Walking Dead was going to end and Fear of the Walking Dead was going to end in the same season, like if they just brought the 2 together.
Well, I hope this show
And-
doesn't go on past its due. Like
They don't
past
jump the
point-
shark and then keep going.
Right, where they just like it reaches its peak and they just keep dragging it out. I hope they end it on a note when it needs to be ended on.
Even-
And if that includes like everybody dying, then fine, so be it. But
Well,
I want them to have a nice, neat
Right.
show. I want this to be a nice, neat, self-contained story.
Everybody can hate Lost all they want, but they straight up said pretty much from the beginning, like, hey, we're going to have 6 seasons.
That's true. That wasn't nice and tied up.
Yeah. They said it. They were like, we're not going
There's a couple of
we're not going to drag this out as far as we possibly can. Like
Yeah,
we're planning to do 6 seasons, and that's it. We know how it's going to begin. We know how it's going to end, and we're just kind of making up the middle as we go along.
Vince Gilligan said the same thing about Breaking Bad. He's like, this guy's dying of cancer. It's not going to be like a 10-season run.
Right.
We're going to keep it true to life.
Just 7 seasons.
Was it 7?
I think it was because they took the last
I know the
season
last
and
one was
popped it in 2.
split in half and all that.
Yeah, which they're doing with. I told you last week they're doing that with Game of Thrones,
right?
Well, and they said the same thing with Game of Thrones. I just read an article that said that the writers have said it's coming to an end. Like, it's setting up now in this season to be going to the end, because they're not going to just milk it and continue to write and write and write. They're telling you a story, and like all stories, it's got to end at some point.
I'm so bummed I can't talk about any of the details because of you guys.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't
seen
care.
it.
Go ahead and tell me everything.
No, do not. I will be going home to watch it tonight. I'll text you as soon as I get done watching it.
How much nudity is in it?
It was a big nudity tease, man. I thought I was going to get to see Daenerys' boobs for the first time in like 2 or 3 seasons.
It's been a while. It's been
And
a
they
while.
still won't even be her boobs.
That's what happens when these actresses
Yeah, I
get
think-
too much
yeah.
clout.
Oh, yeah. She straight up said she wasn't going to do it.
Oh, that's because she was in Breakfast at Tiffany's on Broadway, and or whatever, West End or whatever. And she was naked in that show. Like that's a live stage show. So I didn't think she had qualms about that as long as it's good for the storytelling.
No, she's gotten so big on the show. She told her contract was renegotiated. And she doesn't have to do any nude scenes.
Well, good
so
for her for
lame.
being
if
able to
they
renegotiate.
do have
it.
I don't like
nude,
it.
it's a body double.
But it's just
Fair enough.
like last season, she's in bed with her lover, like her first lieutenant or whatever, and he's walking around with his wiener flopping around, and she like pulls the sheet up over herself, and I'm just like, she would not be so self-apprehensive, I mean, this is her guy.
Here's a cool thing I'll say about that before we zoop back over to Fear the Walking Dead here. Did you know, like, Daenerys in the book is like early teens? Like,
that's
in this,
disturbing.
I think she's supposed to have started in her teens when this started, like maybe 16 or something. But in the book, she might have been like 13 or 14.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, she was really young. And she was actually supposed to have blue eyes or something. But the girl, Emilia Clarke or whatever, didn't like contacts or whatever. And just like, we'll save them. I got other cool facts, but we'll save those for
Wow, but the fact that she just be like, I don't like that, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Blue eyes.
Yeah,
Get
she
outta
did.
here with that.
Well, you know what? I think they tried. I think they said they tried to do it, but it's like she just was so, like, she didn't wear contacts, so it was just such a hindrance that they were like, God knows, all the time we're going to take to let her get used to this. We could have just filmed a couple of episodes, so screw it. It's just, or maybe purple. Maybe her eyes are supposed to be purple.
You think they could change that in like post-production or something?
That's what,
with the
coming from
computers?
someone that's done a little bit of computer work, man, that would be a bitch to go in and change her eye
That's
color.
what it
I'm
is.
making the money sign with my hands. Or like the money, like.
I thought you were playing the world's
Okay.
smallest violin.
My heart bleeds for you. Yes.
Very nice. But, so Fear the Walking Dead, I'm very happy with it. I'm enjoying it.
I want you to go
think
back
it's
to the
building
beginning of this
somewhere.
episode, folks, and every time Justin has to say but back to Fear the Walking Dead, you have to take a shot.
No.
All right, and then hopefully by the end
True
of the
that.
podcast, you're going to be a little buzzed.
Matt and JP and myself want you to have a good intoxicated time while listening to your
right?
favorite podcast.
Why not?
Absolutely, a little bottle of wine or
Yeah.
a box, if you will.
But all right, so Zombie Island. Tell us about Zombie
Oh
Island.
yeah, that's how many people were on that flight? Because that was a lot of people. And then I forget his name, Daniel. And then Daniel starts putting his gun up to. What are you gonna do? You're gonna shoot every single one of them? I was like, you're gonna need more bullets.
Yeah, I think he was just at the point. It's one of those things where sometimes folks will dig too far into a character's actions and realize that a lot of times in real life you do things that don't make any sense. That's just part of life. Like with him, he probably just saw zombies coming, was like, hey, I've got a gun.
No.
Let's shoot. In hindsight, he probably would tell you, you know what, I probably should have just ran and saved the ammo. But
Right.
what can you do?
But he used. I'll say it one more time. He used that ammo to its full extent.
He did. He kicked ass.
shot,
I really
yeah.
like him. I like his kind of code, and he had a good point too.
Put him on the death watch. If you like him, put him on the death watch.
And he had a good point when he was talking to Philia when he was talking about like Madison and them. He was like, you think that they would save you over their own daughter? No. Basically, he's saying, we're all here together, but we're still looking out for each other first and foremost, which is pretty much, I guess, the way you've got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, Rick would do anything to save any member of that group, but if it was between Carl and anybody else,
Oh, he
You know.
totally choose Carl.
gonna choose Carl.
But I think everybody else would expect him to choose Carl.
Right.
Like I feel like everybody else in the group would be like, no, I'll totally put down my life to save Carl.
All these weeks later, with time to deliberate, do you still think it's Carl?
I still think it's Carl. Absolutely.
No.
Wow.
I still think it's Glenn.
Think it's
I'm
Glenn?
going to stick with Glenn.
Who would
I think
be more
Glenn is the
shocking than
obvious
Carl,
choice.
though?
I think you know what, and they could. It's so crazy they can like reverse psychology your ass. Like you go,
I just feel
it's
like
gonna
they're
be.
gonna,
Like he could say it's going to be Glenn. Oh, that's the obvious choice. Everyone knows that, right? Which just might be exactly why they pick it because everyone's picking who else is going to
Well,
be.
just too
and it
much.
would be
They say
Glenn.
it's going to be a turning point for the show, and Glenn's death really turns Maggie on the trajectory that she's going on. And it's just that's a big death, and he's a main character. He's like the original character. I
Man,
would just see it happening.
if I was the writer, I think it would be so cool to explore because you've already seen how Maggie progresses without Glenn. It'd be really cool. I know they're not, but to kill Maggie off and watch how Glenn progresses without Maggie, whereas Maggie becomes like. I mean, this is just coming from like a writing point. Like as someone who likes to write, I would love to explore that. Like so, you go, all right, we know how Maggie becomes stronger and she becomes more of a leader and she becomes an all around better person because of Glenn's death. Write Glenn to be the opposite. He's finally started to get some balls on him. Now take him and make him not get. I mean, get stronger in the sense of you don't want to screw with him, but not a stronger minded leader. Have him just become like a little freaking savage. You know what I mean? Just completely rework the character because of that. It'd be fun to kind of change that, but I don't. They're not going to do that.
Time will tell.
I'm telling you, I want to see Rick Grimes just go savage after Carl dies. And he can't completely lose himself because he's still got Judith at home to take care of, and he's got Michonne to anchor him. But still,
we'd have to go through Crazy Rick again.
But it's going to be more of a focused crazy.
You have a lot of faith. You have a lot of faith.
Who, me?
Yeah, I respect it.
I have faith in you.
No, I mean like in the show.
Oh, in the show, right?
Hey, I have faith in the show. I'm with JP.
Oh, great.
I'm with JP. I'm Team
great.
JP.
I mean, I could totally see him copping out. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to
As
see
they've
it.
done.
Yeah, by no means it's a bad thing, but I just feel like the show has let me down a lot, and I just don't have as much faith in it as I used to.
Well, I think a lot of that too. Just my opinion. I think a lot of shows do this too, but I think a lot of it has to do with having so many different writers and directors and everything. You know what I mean? Because you might not direct or write something the way that I would. So, like Glenn Mazzar pretty much got fired because he killed so many main characters so last minute in season 3. Like Merle's death was not until like the last minute. They were like, oh, yeah, we're killing Merle off this episode. It was a very snap decision. It wasn't originally supposed to happen. Andrea wasn't originally going to die. He just up and was like, we're going to kill Andrea for dramatic effect or whatever reason.
I smell what you're stepping in.
And then you switch over to Scott Gimple, who's telling a different story, and it's like I think that as rough as it can be to have one person dedicated, like Kurt Sutter, Sons of Anarchy. Anybody that liked that show, I never heard anyone ever say seasons are getting because the same guy wrote it all the way through.
Right.
Like his
Same
vision,
thing with Breaking Bad.
Right.
Yeah.
His vision and Game of Thrones has pretty much this. What's his name?
R.R. Martin.
R.R. Martin writes one episode per season. But other than that, I think it's pretty much the same two guys that write it, right?
I mean, Matt, you should know what happens when there's too many cooks in one kitchen. Ain't nothing going to taste right.
Oh,
is
no.
it?
Well, see, and it'd be different if, like, say, the three of us were like,
I was
hey,
trying to
we're
think
gonna.
what would happen if there were too many cooks in a kitchen, but they would just all be bumping into each other.
Yeah.
Why are there so many of us?
Things wouldn't get flipped and turned and rotated.
Yeah. Soup would get gelatinous.
That's a good word. Gelatinous, burnt even. Because the bottom, you'd have to, especially if it's like a cream or a custard base. You got to keep those things stirred.
For our listeners, Matt's a restaurateur. That's why I brought it up.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a really nice way to put it. I like that.
It'd be different if it was like all of the authors worked together from the beginning. Like if the three of us were like, all right, hey, we're going to create a zombie survival story, and we started writing together. That's cool because it's the same dynamics the whole time through. But when it's like, it'd be completely different if, like, say, I wrote the first 2 books in the series, and then Matt jumped in and wrote one, then JP. I mean, you'd have a completely different flow, and I think that might be part of The Walking Dead's issue is they've had, and I mean, because even Greg Nicotero, who is the special effects guy, has directed and helped. I think he's helped write. I know he's directed episodes, and it's like you kind of just need like Frank DuPont. What was that his name? Frank Darabont. Darabont.
But you need consistency.
Darabont.
There's got to be consistency.
Right.
You don't want your risotto to be totally different Monday than it is Thursday.
Right.
Oh, another
I'm sticking with this,
kitchen
man. I'm
analogy.
going
That's
with it,
good.
yeah.
But he started it and it set the tone for season 1, and he kind of I think he wrote season 2. But then they switched to Glenn Mazzar in that, and then stuck with him through the end of season 3, and then I think from 4 on was a toss up between people, and then Scott Gimple. So
consistency, like you said,
like Steven's Dark.
All about.
I mean, it just I don't know. I think that's their biggest problem. So hopefully, maybe the same people are writing Fear the Walking Dead all the way through, and it'll stay consistent.
You don't want your casserole to get cold.
No.
Well, you don't want broccoli and cheese soup that's really heavily reliant on the strong broccoli taste this week, and then the same soup, but it's much more set on the spices you throw in. It might be a terrible example, but you get what I'm saying. Right, you want it fixed the same way. Like if your mama fixes whatever, like my mom fixes chicken and dumplings, and the way she makes her dumplings is what makes it so good. I don't want someone else to cook it and then be like, well, I focused more on the chicken. I'm not so worried about the dumplings.
No, the dumplings are what make it just
right. Because then you're like, well, I mean, the dumplings were what I liked about it. Why are you what? I'm not going to use the same mixture. I'm just throwing regular old dumplings. But wait till you see how I did the chicken. Well, I didn't want it like So kind of like that with the writing. I wish Walking Dead would. Like, I hope it just come out and, like, smash Daryl's head in or Carl. Just something you don't see happening.
That'd be really cool.
Just please
not Carl,
Michonne.
Daryl. I think he'll Daryl. That'd be cool.
Yeah, not Michonne, please. I mean, other than Rick, that's my favorite. And I really feel like, she's probably the best well-rounded of the group as far as enough crazy to get the job done, but not enough crazy to see clearly.
She's crazy, but she holds it in.
Right.
She uses it.
It's like a focus power on a video game. She only uses it when she needs it.
She's got some kind of figure. Lord have mercy.
What do you think? 6, 7 digits?
I
Thank you.
My head's spinning. I don't even.
I'd like to see the her and Ezekiel moment, where he calls her out, because you haven't really gotten much of Michonne's backstory on the show, and Ezekiel tells her
she had kids. She did
Right.
mention that. Dead
Right.
kids.
a kid,
Or a kid.
a son,
Whatever, yeah.
Whereas I think in the comics she had like 2 daughters.
I think so.
But I like in the comic, when if Ezekiel shows up, he points out straight out the bat. He's like, "You're good with your sword, but you've got terrible form." Like tells her, like, "You're good with it, but I can tell you didn't train with this sword." It'd be cool to go back. I just like Michonne. But yeah, so Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, I feel like we're cheating it, but at the same time, I don't know what else there is to cover.
They got some supply. They didn't really show what supplies they got.
No.
Then they go to this island that causes the trouble. Like, again, dude, everywhere they go, they just cause trouble.
Well, the preview from next week's episode was like a minute and a half, and it showed Nick washing up on shore.
Yeah, I saw that.
And,
I saw
alone.
Strand like floating in the water. Wasn't that him at the end of the preview? That wasn't Strand
Well,
floating in the water?
it could have been, but I don't think it was.
my word.
But it showed Nick completely alone.
so concerned.
I mean, this sounds awful.
Yeah.
Because usually when people are floating, they're either at the lazy river or they're dead.
Oh, lazy river.
Yeah.
Love the
There
lazy
we
river.
go. I hadn't heard a sound effect yet.
I know we've been slacking with those.
So
It's
apparently
okay.
Victor's got some kind of sanctuary lined up.
So
He
I don't
does.
know. I
But
think he's lying.
But the thing is, with the Nick thing, is you see helicopters flying over, and I mean, it's like part of, and it's cool to see that in The Walking Dead because you've not seen any kind of, helicopters or anything like
Yeah.
that in the show. So in this,
Right.
they're still there, So I'm interested to see where it's going to go. I'm liking it. I'll give this episode in 7.5.
What did I do last week? What did I say? A 6? Did I say
Probably
5
like
or
a
6?
2.
Did I say maybe a 3? I could have swore I gave it. I thought I was a little bit nicer last.
I think you were. I think
I'm
you
gonna
gave
say a 6.5.
6.5.
Like, it's slowly building on me, but I just don't. I don't care for the characters. It's not new to me. It's nothing. It's nothing new or anything.
It
like
hadn't
that.
hit you like The Walking Dead does either.
Right.
Like we were fishing last night, and we were just up the road from my dad's house, but it was like 10 minutes to go, and we're like, oh, Fear the Walking Dead comes on in 10 minutes. But it was just real casual, getting in the truck, go. Whereas with The Walking Dead, it would have been like, get in the truck. Fishing rods flying everywhere, tackle boxes falling out the back, probably people getting left behind.
Right.
It would have been some serious shit.
You would have cut the rope to the
Oh,
John boat and
yeah,
just left him in the
good.
pond.
Like you're sitting there,
funny.
you got somebody out there floating, and they're like, reel me in. You're like, there's no time. You cut the rope.
And then they look down at the other person like, this is as bad as it gets.
Later that night, they look at you and say, I
What
can understand
the
you
hell?
leaving me, but why did you have to cut the rope? I mean, you could have just left me.
The pond's like 3 feet deep.
I mean,
Just what made Strand have that change of heart, though,
I don't think he had a
was
change
he
of
just-
heart. I think he was just waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of, like.
Because he told
crowding
them
him.
what he wanted, and then he walked away. He was like, okay, here's what needs to happen. And then he walked away. And I think he finally was like, he probably stewed on it for a little while. The way he walked out there.
Though he was a douche for doing it, the way he did it was pretty pimp. I mean,
Yeah.
he just walked
Yeah.
straight out there. Whack.
He's definitely a man of his convictions, and he believes strongly in them.
Yeah, he
so I can
does.
respect that, but he's still.
It's
kind
just a
douchebag.
question of like, what are they? Like, what is it he's doing? Because, like I said, he very well could just be out for himself. I mean, we might find out maybe he has a kid somewhere waiting on him. I mean, it could be something like that. Maybe he's in with the people that have something to do with this or something, and they've got his kid or his wife or something, and that's why he is acting the way he's acting. I mean, sometimes writers can do that.
I definitely think
know.
this is not his boat.
No, I don't think it's his boat either. Though he does seem to know how to drive it pretty well, so obviously
He has
he's
a lot of
on
rules.
the boat.
I know you're not running on my deck.
This is like Lost all over again. There's rules
Oh God.
all over the place. JP needs to get on his lawsuit and
I
start a Lost
know.
podcast.
What about you? What rank do you give this episode?
Gee, I was a little sleepy when I was watching it, a little bit sleepy, but I don't know. I'll give it a solid 6.
Okay.
Oh wow!
Wow, I
A lot
gave it
lower
higher than
JP.
you.
Did you?
Then I need to bring mine down to a 5.5.
Maybe I
I'm
should
bringing
watch
mine
it
down.
again. I don't know.
I'm bringing mine down to a 5.5.
Wow, maybe I'm gonna
can't
drop.
have
You know what? I'm
his
gonna drop
being
mine down to
higher
a 7.
I
Then
think it was the
Ooh.
circumstances.
We gotta balance
I was
the earth
watching
out
more
here,
than
man.
anything.
That felt weird for a second. I didn't like that.
it's rotating off its axis.
Well, I
Okay,
said just
man.
in my head last night, I started writing a way better show with the same cast, and I was just like, oh well, I don't know.
Maybe they're gonna turn it around though. We still don't know. We got plenty in the
you
Walking
guys and
Dead.
your
You're constantly
optimism,
meeting
man.
characters. I mean, we could very well. We haven't met any Michonnes
Bunch
yet.
of positive polys, aren't you?
Michonne showed up technically in season 3. She stepped up at the end of season 2, but you didn't really get to know her until season 3.
Yeah.
So, she's now your favorite character, right?
I would say so, sure.
So perhaps you just hadn't even met your favorite character yet. Season 1 and 2 Walking Dead had a lot of characters I really did not give a rat's ass about.
Okay, I can give you because like right now my favorite character is Eugene
Yeah.
on The Walking Dead, so I could see that.
And
not
hell,
being a
you didn't
favorite
meet him
character
until
yet.
season 4.
Right?
So, you might not have even met your favorite character yet.
It's true.
Okay.
So, I'm still holding up hope. I think that I think something's going to come of it. I'm being hopeful. Damn it!
I can tell.
And if it sucks, it sucks. I'll be the first to say, yeah, I try. I gave it faith.
Yeah, I mean, I
My
don't
faith
think
was
it's a bad
squandered. It was
show.
terrible. But
I think with the opportunity of
he
making a
seems
whole
down
new,
tonight on it.
You okay?
it's
Yeah,
kind, we didn't go to the gym before the podcast. My endorphins are.
Oh, that's very true.
And I think he's
That's
planning
very
on
true.
skipping out tonight, so no endorphins for you tonight.
Yeah, no one.
I went running earlier. It was really nice. I have like a nice little area that I can run, like in the neighborhood. There's like some back roads, not like alleys or anything, but like streets, just back streets.
Yeah.
And
Don't stop at the guy
going
flipping the
down
quarter.
isn't bad, but come back up, it's a hill, and that's not fun. But it's I'm trying to be a little more proactive,
Yeah.
trying to live a little bit longer,
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Well, yeah.
trying to go up a flight of steps without losing my breath.
It's a good thing to do. You gonna get you a Fitbit next? Oh, you got. Oh, cool.
Like
Awesome.
the Samsung Gear. I got
Those are
that.
very helpful if
But
you're actually trying to do some
but
health
I'll be
stuff.
driving down the road, then all of a sudden it go bzzz, 10,000 feet, and I'll be like, oh, cool. I was doing
My
exercise, I
girlfriend
didn't even know
wishes
it.
hers was that forgiving. I mean, hers, you basically have to like swing the crap out of it. One night to try to even the odds, her and her friend were in one of those challenges trying to get steps. So I took it and tied it to the ceiling fan.
That's
So
funny.
it was going whoop, whoop, and you could just watch her steps go whoop, whoop.
Was it was working?
It
That's
worked out pretty
funny.
good. It was a reason why we stopped, though. I think it stopped working or something, but then I put it on, true story, she'll back all this up. Then I put it on my dog's tail and kept holding treats and talking to him. So his tail was doing this. And, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like building up. And I'd be like, who wants a treat? You want a treat? And, his tail gets the
That's
wagging.
funny.
Where I lacked in the actual physical effort, I definitely more than made up with ingenuity.
Work smarter, not harder.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I still think she lost. But the point is, she got a lot of steps. She only probably took about a tenth of them, but nonetheless.
Huh. Well, real or not, at least they're
Hopefully her
recorded.
friend doesn't listen to this podcast. Actually, you know what? I think her friend won because her boyfriend was also cheating. So, damn us boyfriends. We cheat with Fitbits.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
What if it
awesome.
turns out everybody was cheating? It just turns out who cheated the best.
All right. It's like Fitbits still, like Fitbits sales are through the roof, yet obesity is on the rise. And it's like, well, the whole time I really wasn't actually working out.
That's funny.
Billy over here has the world record in steps with his Fitbit. And it's like, well, Billy, what happened?
I run 7 miles every day. My dog here runs with me. See, I'll offer him a treat. Here you go. You want a treat? I'll eat a treat too. I don't know where I was going with that.
It's like, why is the Fitbit around the dog's neck, not your wrist?
It's a charger.
He's holding it for me.
It's a dog charger.
The dog bit.
You gotta be able to mouth breathe. Y'all got any extra cheese sitting around?
Oh,
I can't eat anymore. Well, maybe one more. Okay.
man, you need to go on South Park.
I thought about it.
Yeah, you could definitely do.
Yeah, I should go on all those
South
TV shows. I keep telling them, "Hey, let me on," but Trey Stone and Matt Parker sent me a cease and desist. They don't want to. I had a really good.
It's their loss.
I had a really good South Park episode idea about Chick-fil-A. They have like the holy cow at Chick-fil-A, and like that's people worship. That's the reason that Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday. And
They all come
Carmen
to
gets
whole-
pissed because Chick-fil-A puts KFC out of business, and Chick-fil-A comes down. They're like, "How are you doing, my pleasure?" And then Carmen's like, "You can suck my balls," and the guy's like, "My pleasure."
Man, you should
See,
send
right?
that in. That's a
I
pretty-
did. They sent me a cease and desist. I sent it too many times. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, dude,
That was just something me and my friends did when we were just hanging out one day.
Yeah.
Just- we
that's
just come
really
up with
good.
that.
That and it fits right along with South Park. You did a good job of keeping it within South Park.
And Butters gets a job, at Chick-fil-A and everything. I've seen a lot of South. I've been watching it since I was in
Me
middle
too.
school. So yeah.
I've been watching it since I wasn't allowed to watch it.
I remember when it first. Like I remember being in cafeteria line 7th grade, and somebody's like, "Have you heard of this new show called South Park?"
Yep. I remember it was in the
crazy.
newspaper, like its first season, because it was so vulgar,
right?
and all of that. My dad, of course, loved it. And my mom was like,
Memories.
"You can watch it." But yeah, I'd love to own all the seasons, but who's got the money?
Right.
If you would've bought
Probably
them as
like
they
Warren
came out,
Buffett, Elon Musk.
Bill Gates.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the douchebag guy that owns the basketball team that's on Shark Tank? Mark Cuban.
who's a douchebag that owns the AIDS virus treatment.
Oh, what's that guy's name? Scarelli? Martin Scarelli.
There you go. Yeah,
he's like a real life Bond villain.
He's
Look
like,
him
yeah,
up.
right. He's such a usually like when he's in court and he's making all those faces and he's an evil douchebag.
I've never heard
Same
of
as
this guy.
the affluenza kid.
Assholes. The world's full of them.
Yep.
Well, I am looking forward to next week's.
Are you?
I
I'm
am.
glad you guys are. What about you, JP? Are you looking forward to next week?
I'm a little hungry.
Like,
What are we talking
are
about?
you saying like you're hungry for like the struggle, like for business, for the
you guys
money,
were talking
know?
about Chick-fil-A so much. That's all I've been
Sorry,
thinking about the
man.
last like 90 seconds or
Oh.
whatever. But no, I think it's going to be a good show next Sunday.
Well, okay, that's two of you. That's good.
We're talking about Game of Thrones. Yeah. No, Fear the Walking Dead. That's going to be
There we
fantastic
go.
too.
Oh,
yeah.
you ended that. You ended the podcast a few minutes ago, didn't you?
Who did?
You did in your brain.
Stop. Oh.
What
was that?
Dude, I find those Minions to be so freaking funny.
I love
don't
the
know
Minions.
why. When the first one came out, when the first Despicable Me, I was like, you watch. They're going to have a movie based off of just those little things. Lo and behold, 4 years later.
Was the movie good? I
The
didn't watch
Minions, it was okay.
I was to say it's never
took my
usually
niece
as
to go
good as
see
you
it.
would think it would be. You know,
I took her to the afternoon show because I was like, come on, we're going to skip school. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be a cool uncle, you know. And we went at like 12 or 1 o'clock, so it was good because there wasn't that many kids in there. Which when you go at night and there's kids everywhere and they're all crying and they won't shut up and watch the movie.
Right.
She's 9, so she's at that age where she appreciates
Okay.
a little, you know, the certain. She's a writer. She's like, I'm writing. I have to write right now.
I wish you were my uncle.
I wish you were my uncle too.
Guys, easy. There's enough.
You
me-
never
there's
take me
enough
to the
go
movies.
around.
That's all I'm
Not
saying.
That's because all you
Not
want to
even
see
once.
is smut films, and I'm like, we're not going to those movie theaters. I'm
It
just
was
telling
fine for
you.
Pee Wee Herman. I mean,
Yeah, and,
Fear the
and
Walking
Fred
Dead.
Willard. Oh, that's
Fear the
good.
Walking Dead
Take another
writers.
shot,
wait,
everybody.
Fred
Do you
Willard
hear-
goes to porno theaters?
He did. He got arrested for it a couple years ago. Look
What?
it up. Look it up.
Do you hear, writers, what we're talking about? We're talking about smut films and wanting Matt to be our uncle. I like the show, but you've definitely got to step it up because even at least with The Walking Dead, we get a little off track every now and again, but it typically stays Walking Dead. This is kind of hard to stay on track. So while I am enjoying it and I'm being as hopeful as I possibly
We're just kind
can,
of finishing it out, letting everybody just kind of feel it out. I need some theme songs.
theme
Somebody's.
songs,
I don't care.
Don't forget
who,
to subscribe.
Somebody.
Find
Anybody,
us on Facebook.
send me a theme song. What's the email?
podcastingdeadpodcast@gmail.com.
Podcastingdead podcast at gmail. It would help if I knew the email.
that would be a step in the right direction.
Podcastingdeadpodcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
Go send a theme song. I don't care. Plug your microphone in. Click on your phone. You can record. You can do all of this on your smartphone.
Beatbox, man.
Just do it.
We just want to hear it.
Like some Biz Marquee stuff. I don't care.
Right.
I just want to hear
Absolutely.
something, but put a little bit of
I
interest
just want
in
to
it.
hear something.
And Nilda Rosada got her wonderful bat
She
prize.
did. She
Yeah.
sent us a picture, and
that's so
she's very happy with
cool.
it. It
She's such a
seems.
sweetheart.
And like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see
Subscribe.
you next week. Subscribe to
and
us
survive,
here
guys.
on YouTube, and we appreciate it. I'm
Always.
Justin.
I'm Matt.
I'm JP.
And I think that's it. Is that it?
That's
it.
gonna be
That's
it.
Let's cut it out.